Hello everyone, Tom here. Today I'm going to do an unboxing of the Feiyu AK2000 version 2.0. It's a gimbal for DSLR and I'm going to do what's in the box, of course, and then we're going to take it on the field and show you what it is to walk and run with the camera handheld and what it is to walk and run with this. A week ago I received an email from Feiyu asking me if I want to test one of their products, and because I was already in the market for buying a DSLR gimbal, it was the perfect opportunity. I mean, it's almost like they read my mind. So the AK2000 came as a natural selection from their products. They sent me, it's here, and I can't wait to take it out of the box. Let's start to see what's in the box. Whoa! And it also has a logo. What is this? The warranty card and a letter. To me? You shouldn't. Dear Toma, I hope... No, it's not Dear Toma. It's just a quick start guide, which obviously I'm a man that studied mathematics and computer programming. I don't need this. I'll figure it out by myself. Whoa! I always like to smell the new gear. And it's so shiny and so clean. In 2 or 3 days it's not gonna be clean anymore. It's gonna be put to work in the forest, my friends. So we have the batteries, we have the charger, the cable for the charger, some screws. This is the lens holder. If you want, you can mount it on the plate. And you have this small tripod that you can attach the gimbal to. You have the plate, which of course goes to the camera. You have a tiny weeny box which holds cables for different cameras, and we have the thing we are all here for. Let's just screw this. I'm not putting the batteries yet. I don't even know if they're charged, but I just want to see it. It's like a toy for big children. Now it's time to mount the camera and stabilize the camera and do the initial setup of the gimbal. But first, I want to show you this. We need to initialize the camera. So now we have the camera mounted on the gimbal. All we need is to adjust the distances between the different points, because what you want is to have, when you leave the gimbal, the camera should stay like this. If you tilt it like this, it should remain like this. So you need to adjust from left to right.
I'm gonna take you on a ride. We're gonna burn through the night. Why you're so salty? I'll still take a bite.
Okay, we can take my Lambo.
The load is up to 2.8 kilos. It also has this tilted arm, which means that you're always going to see the screen over here. If you're going to film with your screen flipped, probably you need to do this initial setup with that screen flipped out, just to be sure. Before I'm going to show you some technical features of this gimbal, I think I can't wait anymore. I have to do a real world test. I have to see what the image looks like walking with the camera handheld and running with it, as opposed to having the camera mounted on this gimbal. We're back in the studio and I want to show you all the features that this gimbal has. First of all, let's start with the app. You need to have the gimbal started, the Bluetooth to be enabled. You start the app, which automatically searches for the gimbal. It finds the gimbal, it connects to it, and now you have the ability to control it straight from the app, which is very useful if you film yourself. For example, like I'm filming myself, it's very useful. And you have a button to reset the position, and you can control the different motions of the camera like this. And also through the app you can connect the camera. You have here connect the camera, and you have to start the wireless function on your camera. It will connect to the gimbal, to the phone app, and in this way there is a communication between the gimbal and the camera. And when the camera is connected by Wi-Fi, you can just swipe to the left and set the ISO and also the compensation, and swipe another time to the left and set the white balance directly from the gimbal. A very good thing about this gimbal is that while this is started, you can position it with your hand. So if you want to film something, you can do something like this and it will just hold that position. If you want to reset it, there's a button over here. You just double click it and it will reset its position. As you can see, this is the cable, the release cable. You can plug it over here. There's a connector. And now let's continue. You have here on the right another button, which if you press once, it will lock the screen. Then you have this magic ring, if you want, this knob, that if you turn it by default it doesn't do anything, but you have the option to control the panning. Okay, you can, if you click another time, you can control the rolling, and then you control the tilting. Now you also have a joystick, and if you press it to the right, it moves to the right, to the left, and up and down. The most important functions are related to the way the camera moves in relation to the movement of the gimbal. So by default it's HF, and this is horizontal follow or panning. So right now I'm in HF, and if I do like this, you see that the camera rotates like this. Okay, if I do like this, the camera stays forward, so it doesn't do any tilting. Again, if I do like this, it doesn't do any rolling. In HF, if you once press the power button, now you can also do rolling. I don't know exactly when you would like to do rolling, but you have this option. If you once click the screen, you have a designated button. If you press it once, it's HF. If you press it twice, it's TF. 3 times, it's AF. You just click the screen and it switches from them. So from HF you go to TF, which is tilt follow, and now you also have horizontal follow and you have tilt follow. Now the camera doesn't stay straight, it just moves with the gimbal. And then you have all follow, which will also do the rolling, because in TF again it doesn't do the rolling. If you also want the rolling, you go to AF and the camera rolls. And you also have a lock mode. Let me just quickly show it to you, when you can do whatever you want and the camera will stay still. Now the most useful mode, I think it's either HF if you are just following a person that is moving, or TF if you are, for example, filming a landscape. Now let's go and swipe to the right, and this is the panel from which you can set the time-lapse and some camera sensitivity. First of all, the payload settings, I prefer to leave it on auto, it detects by itself. Then rotation time, this is where the gimbal can be set to do a time-lapse or a fluid motion depending on settings. So you can set the time needed for the gimbal to do the panning, for the time needed to do the tilting, the interval between shots, and the time that that dwell function, that how much time the gimbal will stay and wait for a photo to be taken. And then you use this in conjunction with auto rotation, and when you press auto rotation it says set initial point, and you set it just like this. You press OK, and then you set another point like this, you press it, then again OK, and the gimbal will start doing that motion between these 2 points and do the time-lapse, or as I told you, the fluid motion. Scroll setting. Now I can go in the sensitivity, and as you can see, I dimmed a little bit the sensitivity of the gimbal and the camera. I prefer much more smoother motions, and capture mode I also have it set on smooth. Of course, if I would have to follow a subject that moves quickly, sports for example, or complex and dynamic scenes where the persons are moving very fast, I will have to set it on action probable. Settings, in the general settings, you can set the language and do calibration of some sort, and it will auto-calibrate in itself. Now, as a final conclusion, I really like this gimbal up until now. So I think it's a very interesting tool. It will be a second video when I will show you an entire vlog. I will go somewhere and shoot an entire vlog with it, just to have a feeling of how cinematic a vlog can become by using this gimbal. It can be a little tricky to use in terms of weight. When you start filming, it's nothing. You say, oh, it's okay. But I film, and after about 15-20 minutes, you start to feel it. So I need to work out a little bit more. It's a great tool. It can do really interesting movements. You can get some really interesting shots, things that you will not be able to do otherwise. And the option to do the time-lapse and also the fluid motion in those complex motion, the only problem that I'm having is that you can set only 2 points. It would be really interesting to have the ability to set, let's say, 3 points at least. I hope this was useful for you, especially if you want to buy a gimbal. And if you have questions, use the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. And bye-bye.